important to talk about today. My heart is quite heavy, especially in the light of the news we just got about the passing of such a light and a gift to the body of Christ. And to think that we lost her so carelessly to domestic violence, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And because of that, I have decided to share something with you all. You know, this is something that I have used for up to 2 years now. God actually gave me this blueprint, and every single time I have come into contact with a woman who is in a difficult marriage, in an abusive marriage, I've often taken them through these steps to help them determine, or better still, to help them understand the kind of situation they are actually in. And that is what I've come to share with you today. So if you are in an abusive relationship, if you are in a physically abusive relationship, if you are in a domestic violence marriage, so to speak, I want you to follow me closely and listen to what I have to say to you. It is possible you are not in such a relationship. I want you to follow me closely all the same, so that you can help somebody, so that you can save a life. So before I go on, first I want you to subscribe. Secondly, I want you to like this video, leave a comment for me, and of course I want you to share it. Please share it. Share it with every single person in your circle. Share it with men and share it with women. Save it somewhere, keep it. Sometimes you will not be able to get the job done. If you have someone close to you who is going through this kind of thing, you may not be able to get the job done, but I may. This video may. So please do save it and share it. Share the links. Let it go as far as possible. Thank you. All right, so to go into what I have to say to you, follow closely. If you're in an abusive relationship, I know that it feels like nobody actually understands. I know that because it is my job to understand. So when everybody comes to you and they say, leave, just leave, why don't you just leave? It feels like they don't understand, and that is why you have not left. I understand why you have not left. So I want to try to help you to understand better what you think you know. First of all, there is a dependency, so to speak, between an abuser and the abused. So you are in a marriage and your husband is beating you. The whole world thinks that he's beating you because he's a beast or is a bad man. And you are there because you are probably soft, or you love him so much, or you don't know where to go to. You are there in that marriage because you are depending on him. And as funny as it may sound, he is depending on you too. That man that beats you cannot beat every kind of woman. It is you he can beat, or your kind of woman. So it is a strange relationship. He needs you in his life so that he can continue to beat you. And sadly, you need him in your life because you are the kind of woman that can be battered and that can be beaten. The first thing you have to do is to begin to work on your mind. You have to begin to work on your psyche. You have to take time out to close out the noise and find your own self. You have to ask yourself, why do I believe? Why do I have a deep-seated belief that I deserve the kind of treatment that I'm getting? That is the first thing to start with. Why do you believe that you deserve to be battered? Why do you believe that you deserve to live in the same house with your enemy? Why do you believe that you deserve to continue to coexist or to live with a man who promised to love you, to care for you, to protect you with his life? Why do you believe that you deserve to continue to stay in a space when he has turned against you? I want you to answer those questions. Write it somewhere. Think about it deeply. When you find the answers to the questions I have asked, then you are on your way to freedom. And I promise you, I am not the voice of the crowd. When I say freedom, I'm not saying living like the internet says. I'm not saying Go away, pack your things. Why don't you just pack your things like the world says? I want you to understand yourself. I want you to get to the root of the problems, because most likely the way these things work, if you even leave this particular abuser, there is a 90% chance that you end with another abuser. If you walk out of him without finding answers and finding yourself, there is a high possibility that you will go back to him. It's a messed up situation. I don't want to say your mind is messed up, but seriously, it is a messed up situation. All right, so that is just like an introduction. Let me go into the other things that you have to do. Number one, find a pattern. So we have agreed that you're in an abusive relationship, you're being beaten, you're being maltreated, but settle down and find a pattern. So the last time he beat you, what happened just before he beat you? The last 2 times he beat you, what led to the battery? We don't start from he beat me. Do you get what happened before that? Okay, so the 3 times back, 4 times back, 5 times back, I want you to journal those events. How did you get to the point where he began to eat you? Let me give you an example. I met a woman in counseling, and of course, this is the situation of our marriage. When I asked her this question, we discovered that he beats her when he comes home drunk. Do you get? So they have issues, they are not friends, all of those things are there, but they may be able to manage their situation until he comes home drunk. So that is when events, then all the frustrations or whatever it is that is bothering him, he can't hold himself back anymore. He comes home drunk. So if, assuming you are in that situation now and you have found the pattern, that the marriage is not really great, right? But when he is drunk, that is when he's likely to beat me. You know that you're already finding a headway. Then you'll be able to tell yourself, when he comes home drunk, I excuse him, right? When he comes home drunk, I disappear with the children and lock myself up in a room. By morning, his head will be clear and there will most likely be no beating. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? All right, so find a pattern. I promise you there is always a pattern. There is always a pattern to it. So find a pattern. Number 2 is determine the part that you play in it. Life is tough, right? The world is going to join you to say, he's a bad man, or, pity party. Everybody will gather, oh, that man, very wicked. I understand that he's wicked. Whatever they say, I understand. But you, what part are you playing in what is happening? You have to determine it. Let's go back to the example of the woman I gave, whose husband comes home drunk and then he beats her. He doesn't beat her when he's not drunk. Now, I asked her the same question. Let's go back. Let's go back to, finding the pattern. When he comes home drunk, what do you do? When he comes home drunk, what do you do? I talk to him. I try to correct him. And a man, full-grown man, how will you be drunk in the presence of your children? I have to tell him the truth. You see, that's what I do. Just because I want to tell him the truth, then he slaps me. Do you understand? You have seen the part that you are playing. What can you do differently when you see the part that you are playing? So you are about to break a pattern. He comes home drunk. Rather than face him and talk about his drunkenness or talk about how he's not good enough or whatever, why don't we stop you from adding to the problem? So he's already drunk. Must you talk? You are trying to break the pattern. So number 2 is find how you are adding to the problem. Find the part that you are playing in the issue. With this woman whose example I'm using today, when I told her, this one is a bit easy, don't speak. Just excuse yourself. Make him as comfortable as possible, because marriage is a covenant. God is in marriage, and even though he's not playing your part, you can't continue to play your part. God helping you. So I said, just make him comfortable, put his food where he can find it, whatever it is that you normally do for him in the evenings, and excuse yourself. Don't say a word. she was able to escape beating just by following steps 1 and 2. So think about it today. How are you adding to the problem? What part are you playing in the problem? Now, to the next point is determine if you are an enabler. Determine if you are an enabler. Remember I said that there is a dependency between the abused and the abuser. Now, look at it. Are you enabling this man to continue to abuse you? Many women who are abused fall into this category. You will be shocked. The whole world is saying that he's not treating you well. Why don't you leave? But at the same time, you are sending him all your money. And this is a true life story. You receive your salary. This man is jobless. He's irresponsible. He gambles. But yet you, the working partner, you are the one sustaining the family, the children, the rent. Yet you receive your salary and forward everything into his account. Because in your mind, you are trying to buy his love. When he sees how submissive you are, maybe he will change. No. No. You can't change him by bribing him. You can't change him by enabling him. So now you are stranded. 2 midnight, he beats you up, locks you out of the house on a winter night. Locks you out of the house that you paid for on a winter night. And you have nowhere to go. You can't afford to pay for an hotel room for one night. Because what? You want to prove that you're a good wife? No. You are an enabler. You are empowering him to continue to abuse you. You are telling him that I deserve everything you are doing to me, and even more, don't be an enabler. So in what ways are you encouraging him to abuse you? There are stories that I cannot tell. There are stories that I cannot tell. A woman says to me, let me leave that. It's too deep. So don't be an enabler. Don't be the one that does what encourages him to continue to do what he's doing. I hope you understand that point. Determine if you're an enabler. If you find that you're an enabler, then you have to do something quickly to at least stop that. It can be crazy, but you cannot continue to enable him. You understand? You cannot continue to empower him to do that to you. That's number 3. All right. Number 4. And this is where a lot of women get it wrong. If you're in an abusive relationship, please, I beg you by the mercies of God, report to the people that can do something about it. Your colleagues at work cannot do anything about it. That one is just pity party that you are throwing. Do you understand? Your friends on the street, they can't do anything about it. In fact, a professional counselor can only counsel you and encourage you. They cannot do anything. They cannot call your husband to order. They can't. Yet you will keep this from your family. You will keep this from your pastor. You will keep this from his own boss at work. These are the people that can actually talk to him. You will keep it from them in the name of protecting his image or keeping the family face, or I don't know. No, don't do that anymore. Report to the people that can actually do something about it. First, your family. Somebody handed you over in marriage to him. Tell your people. Let them call his father. Let them call his mother. Let them call his own people. Because at this point, it's no longer just about you and him. Tell them. Let them call him. And then call his people. Lay it all out flat. Don't die. Then somebody in that gathering will be able to caution him. An agreement will be made. If you beat him again, we are coming for your head. Your mother will face his mother. You raised a monster. Your father will face his father. I am disappointed in your entire lineage. Do you understand? Not telling your colleagues at work. What will they do? They tell you sorry. Tell your pastor. If you are churchgoers and is a worker, and I know I've heard about it, men who are leaders in church abusing their wives at home, and nobody knows. When other people hear about it and say, why don't you tell your pastor? Say, no, I don't want to disgrace, I don't want them to. Oh, I'm so sorry for you. I am truly sorry for you. I doubt if you love yourself. If that is what you are doing, you have to change right now. So tell the people that can caution him. Tell his boss at work. Go to his office with your swollen eyes. Some of you will even be lying to the doctors. When he wounds you and you go to the hospital, you say, I fell. You broke 2 ribs. Where did you fall? You broke 2 ribs. You say, I fell. No, it was in the kitchen. Go to his boss in his place of work. Report the case to him. These are the people that can caution him, not your friends, not the women at the salon, at the hairdressing salon. Everybody now say, yeah, go better for that man. What do you get? Tell the people that matter, right? All right. Number 5, determine if you have a bully or a beast in your hands. And I'll break that down. Determine if what you have in your hands is a bully. A bully is a boy in an adult body. You understand? So by the time you report to the people, the previous point I made, by the time you report to the people that matter, they will caution him and he will stop, or he will control himself. Of course, you are also working on yourself. You are working on your mind. That is a bully. He will most likely stop when you report to the people that matter. But if you have a beast in your hands, he cannot be controlled. He's succumbing to powers, demons beyond him. So even if his pastor says don't, he can't control himself. Even if his own father says don't, he can even eat his father. That kind of person is a beast. Nobody can stop him. Nobody can control him. He will most likely beat you harder for reporting to the people that matter. But at least now you have done your part. You now know that you have in your hands a man that you cannot change. Nobody can touch, only God. And pending when God touches him, you must excuse yourself. And that's my final point. To my final point, you have to make a decision. Sincerely, life can be tough. If you are in an abusive relationship, this is one of those things. You have to make a decision. I know it is difficult. It seems like the world will not understand. I understand you, being a married woman myself. This is my 10th year of marriage. I have 3 children with this man. I can imagine how difficult it is if I have to begin to make an exit plan now. Put some money aside, go and rent a small place, or leave the city. I can imagine how difficult it's going to be for me to apply for a leave at my place of work, to say I have to disappear for a month. Please. I can imagine how difficult it's going to be to think of where to put my children. To think, am I living with my children or without them? Am I going in the midnight or one afternoon? Which day is it? Where am I going to? Who is going to know my whereabouts? Who is going to help me with my children if I have to leave them behind? I can imagine how difficult such a decision is to make. But listen to me. You feel the pains that you feel and the reluctance that you feel and the unsureness that you feel because you are alive. If you stay and it kills you, that is the end of it all. That is the end of your dreams. That is the end of your aspirations. And your children, a lot of women use their children as an excuse. That is the end of whatever it is you were thinking you were giving to your children by staying there. He's going to move on. Your children will suffer even more. It is better you even live without them, if that is the one that is possible for you right now. From a distance, you will now begin to make noise. My children are there. I want to see my children. From a distance, you begin to make noise. You involve your family, involve your pastors. In this social media life that we are even living in now, makes it even better. You make noise from a distance. But alive. I'm begging you, please. Don't waste your life. Don't let anybody put your light out. The covenant of life is stronger than the covenant of marriage. The covenant of life is stronger than the covenant of marriage. The Bible says that there is hope for you if you are joined to the living. There is hope for you to care for your children if you are alive. There's hope for you to remarry if you are alive. There's hope for you for that marriage to even be mended. There's hope that it will change and be a better husband, but that is if you are alive. If you die, no more hope. I beg you by God, if you have to make a tough decision like the one I've been describing, please don't hesitate. Please don't hesitate. If you need to speak to someone, you need someone to hold you by the hand. If you think that your situation is peculiar and I have not even touched anything that may affect you, please feel free to reach out to me. You can always find me on social media, Funmi Olubakin. You can send me a mail at funmiolubakin@gmail.com. I'll be willing to help you, to work with you hand in hand, to make sure that you live. To make sure that you live, that is, you stay alive, so that you can fulfill your purpose here on earth. Remember to share, remember to like, remember to subscribe. It's AskPFO, and this is Funmi Olubakin.